Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer in the AI Care Agents 24/7 AI Governance Learning Pathway. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today. So in Foundation 2, we're doing something really crucial. We are translating the NIST AI Risk Management Framework from government jargon into plain English. Why? Well, because frameworks are really only useful if they can be understood by the people actually doing the work, right? Today, we're laying the groundwork for your AI governance journey by cutting straight through all that technical noise. Moving from confusion to governed action. That quote right there really brings us to the heart of what we do. You see, AI Care Agents 24/7 is a California nonprofit, and they're dedicated to a very specific, very vital mission: building a practical, community-focused pathway to help nonprofits, clinics, and legal aid organizations. The goal is simple, but honestly, it's profound. We want to move from confusion to governed action. Because, let's face it, in the world of artificial intelligence, the hype and all that technical speak, it can be completely overwhelming, especially when your main focus is just serving your community effectively.
But, that raises the million-dollar question, doesn't it? How do we actually achieve this? How do we move from that initial state of AI confusion, where literally everything feels like this tangled web of algorithms and government jargon, into confident, governed action? We all know there are these massive, comprehensive frameworks out there, but let's be real for a second. Handing a 50-page technical document to a busy clinic manager? Yeah, that's just not going to help them. The tools we use to manage risk absolutely must be accessible to the everyday user.
Okay, let's dive into this. To do that, we look at the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, which is built on 4 core functions: govern, map, measure, and manage. Now, while those are powerful, they sound, well, pretty abstract, don't they? So today, we're going to translate those govern, map, measure, and manage functions into daily questions that a nonprofit or a clinic can actually ask when evaluating AI. We're basically taking the theoretical and making it a daily practice, turning these 4 pillars into something your team can confidently leverage. Now, what's really interesting here is how we map these functions to practical questions. Think about it. If you tell a frontline healthcare worker they need to perform contextual mapping on a new piece of software, you are definitely going to get blank stares. But watch what happens when we translate that. Instead of asking a super high-level, jargon-heavy question about contextual mapping, a clinic can simply ask, "What exactly is this AI tool doing with our patient data?" Suddenly, a dense government directive becomes a totally clear, actionable question. I actually want to pause on this translated question for just a second because it is so incredibly vital. What exactly is this AI tool doing with our patient data? Empowering your staff doesn't mean sending them to some intensive computer science boot camp. It means turning abstract mapping into this very specific, daily question about patient data. If your team can confidently answer this question every single time they consider a new tool, they are actively participating in AI governance. They're mapping the risk without ever having to use the confusing jargon. It's brilliant. Let's move on and see how this builds directly into the next function. Here's another perfect example of how this translation works in practice. The framework asks us for quantitative measurement. I mean, that sounds dry and highly technical, right? But if we're a legal aid organization, what does that actually mean for our workflow? Well, instead of demanding quantitative measurement, a legal aid team evaluating a new platform can ask a much more grounded question. How do we test this tool to ensure it doesn't give biased legal advice? We've taken a sterile concept and turned it into a critical, highly practical check. How do we test this tool to ensure it doesn't give biased legal advice? This translated question is the actual tool decision-makers need on the ground. When you're evaluating AI to help draft legal documents, or maybe summarize case files, you don't need a theoretical debate about quantitative metrics. You need to know definitively how you're going to test that system to protect your clients from bias and error. This perfectly reminds us that frameworks must speak the language of the people actually using them. Otherwise, they're literally just words on a page. This brilliantly illustrates the entire purpose of Foundation 2. It's all about application, plain and simple. We want you to give these plain English questions to your staff to guide their daily AI decisions. You see, these aren't just academic exercises, they're practical guidelines to help you navigate the real choices you face every single day. When your team has understandable, relatable guidelines, they become your absolute strongest asset in mitigating risk and utilizing technology safely.
So, the crucial point is, how do you put this into action right now? To start using these translations immediately, download today's practical output, our 20-question starter pack. It takes govern, map, measure, and manage and expands them into 20 highly actionable questions perfectly tailored for nonprofits and clinics. You can find it right in the description of this explainer. Give these questions to your staff to guide their daily AI decisions, and just watch their confidence grow as they realize governance is actually something they can actively master.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Are your daily AI decisions governed by clarity, or are they governed by confusion? By translating jargon into everyday language, you choose clarity every single time. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Be sure to download your starter pack below, and then proceed to the next explainer in the pathway so we can continue building your rock-solid AI governance foundation together. Catch you there.